You're on such a roll.
I was on a roll.
You had said like 6 words.
6 words. Alright, it's time for another weekly wrap up. Finished week 12 here. This week was a deload week, so nothing crazy exciting from this week. Just trying to let the body recover and be ready for the next 4 weeks leading into the IPF Open World Championships. Sunday started off with some squats, just raw squats this week. 2 singles, worked up to 170. Didn't feel as good as I was hoping raw squats would feel, but that's sort of the nature of the deload week. Sometimes you think things are going to feel awesome and they don't. Sometimes that's just because, I don't know, fatigue from the prior weeks. I know lately I've been squatting equipped before I do my raw squats, so if that played a factor or if it's just totally mental. But I really felt like I didn't know how to raw squat, didn't know how to hit the hole and come out as I should out of the bottom. But got through it all. Monday was a raw bench day, and then I got a new bench shirt that showed up just this week, so I decided, hey, let's throw that on even though it wasn't programmed. I worked up raw to 115 for a couple of singles, and it felt really good, and I was really tempted to go heavy and see where my raw bench is at, but chose the wise decision and just left it there, especially since I was adding in the shirted work this week. So new shirt I'm not completely sold on, just looking for sort of a backup shirt right now. The one that I've been using has been super consistent and I totally trust it, but just looking to have something should things go awry. I'll probably put the shirt that I had on this week on again 1 or 2 more times, and same thing with my actual meet day shirt, and we'll just plan for that and go from there, see what happens in the coming workouts. So for my deadlift day on Wednesday, I wasn't supposed to have any gear on, but talking to Blaine, we decided, hey, let's throw it on, let's keep working on positioning in the suit. So I did that, worked up to 185 for a bunch of singles, and I feel like positioning's coming. I've been watching a lot of deadlift videos that I can find from lots of different people, and just trying to watch how people are setting up, see what differences, what cues I can take from them, and I feel like it's coming between the deadlift day on Wednesday and then the little bit of raw deadlifts I did yesterday. I feel like I've made some progress, so I'm excited to see how things look in the suit this coming week. My deadlift day, I only did my equipped deadlifts and then some snatch grip deadlifts, and that was it. Blaine wanted me to put all of my energy and focus for my deadlift day into the suited stuff, and then 1 accessory movement, and then go home and get out of the gym. So I scratched out 4 things on that day and just got the main work done. It still took me, I think, a solid 2 and a bit hours to get done, just because of how much time and how much thought was going into the deadlifts and how many reps I did do in the suit, and just playing around with positioning and setup. But hopefully it's all worth it in the end. I actually ended up not training on Thursday. I saw my physiotherapist. Based on what she was finding, she just felt like the recovery day would be better. The physio that I see is Lynn Brochu. She's not your typical physiotherapist in that she's very holistic in her model. If you want to learn more about it, go to withinphysicaltherapy.com or Google the ISM model by Diane Lee, and that's what a lot of her stuff is based on. So the main issue right now is to do with my kidneys, and they're not functioning and moving right, so then they're causing issues throughout my body because they're pulling on the dura, which is the covering of the nerves and tissues throughout your body. Or I guess, yeah, nerves, brain, spinal cord throughout your body, not so much tissues. It's really confusing. So basically, with my kidneys, what she links it all back to is a lot of fear and stress that I put on myself, and pressure that I put on myself with performance, with powerlifting. So that's where it all comes back to. It's really confusing. It's hard to wrap your head around, but I keep going to see her because I do believe in the model that she uses. It's helped me out in a number of circumstances where I've tried other modalities and have had no success. So kidneys has been something that's coming up treatment after treatment with her. I'm looking at manipulating my diet a little bit to try and help that. So reducing salt and just following a diet that is better for kidneys, which is kind of hard to find anything on because everything that I Google is about like kidney failure and that sort of thing, which I'm not having any actual medical kidney issues, just storing a lot of fear and emotions in my kidneys. Yeah, that was my physio day. That was Thursday. If you are struggling with some sort of injury or ailment that doesn't seem to be going away, I highly suggest Lynn Brochu. I've sent tons of my clients there through massage and lots of powerlifters that I know go see her. Or you could search on the Integrated Systems Model or ISM website for somebody who's trained in that, who's closer to you, which might be able to help. Thursday was a rest day. Then Friday I did both my day 5 and day 6 sessions, which was just a bunch of bench variations, military press and push-ups for my bench day, and then some pause squats, just regular sumo deadlifts raw I ended up doing, Bulgarian split squats, and then a little bit of rowing accessory to finish off the week. So yeah, deload week. No real crazy weights moving, but just letting body recover. From here, I basically have 2 more training weeks of like regular 5 days a week training, and then we're into the taper. So there's not a lot of time left. Basically trying to stay healthy right now, work on super minor improvements, but just keep riding the wave and see where things end up in 4 weeks. A bit of a body weight update. This week my body weight's dropped, and especially towards the end of this week. I was 72.6 yesterday morning. Today's Saturday. I was 72.2 this morning, which is on the verge of like, whoa, that's way too light. So I'll see where I'm at the next day or two. Tomorrow will be a refeed day for me because it's my heavy squat day, so I get 100 grams extra of carbs. Then we'll see where I'm at Monday, and I check in with Kristen on Tuesday, so we'll go from there. The big drop from yesterday to today could be to do with salt, because like I was talking about, with my kidneys, I'm just trying to decrease my sodium intake. So I'm not adding salt to things, which I have been adding fairly liberally the last couple of weeks or months, I guess. So we'll see where that's at, but it's really in a good place. I expect we'll need to up my macros a little bit in the coming weeks and just sort of maintain here, which is always a good place to be in mentally. So a couple of weeks ago, we got a question about how would you train in gear if training alone? Now, fortunately, I've more or less always trained with a group. So I've never had to completely train alone where I didn't have help to get my gear on or off, or didn't have usually at least one spotter around, usually more. But the biggest consideration I would have if you're training by yourself with gear is what safety measures you're taking. So perhaps with squatting, maybe you're gonna set yourself up in a cage so that if you have to fail or if you have to get out from under it, you can. Hopefully that cage is gonna be secured down so that it doesn't flip itself if you have to dump it. Or something like a squat stand. We have a couple of pairs, Blaine has a pair that you could drop the weights onto as well. But ideally, you're gonna find a group that you can train with. Along those same lines, same thing with bench would be safety. Setting your safeties appropriately. That's one thing I see a lot of people, especially new people in gear, doing is they don't take into consideration where their safeties actually need to be. They probably, for most people, need to be higher than you think. All that you want the safeties to do, you want to be able to touch your chest, and then if the bar goes one way or another, the safeties are going to catch it so that it's not going to hit your face and it's not going to hit your ribcage or your stomach, depending on what's higher below where you should be touching. Last year before World Games, I had tons of sessions where I was playing around with gear and I would lose it this way one set and this way another set. And thankfully there was never any issues because I had my safeties set at a good height and I had at least one person spotting me and usually 2 or 3 spotting me as well. So yeah, that would be the biggest consideration, would be safety. So making sure you're set up with equipment that you can do that. The other thing that you would have to take into account would be how tight of gear you can use. You're obviously not going to be able to wear as tight of straps because you're going to have a way to get them up yourself. And same thing with the shirt, you're going to have to figure out how to pull it down yourself while keeping your shoulders set instead of having somebody else do that for you. But it's definitely doable. Tons of people have done it. Some high-level ones that come to mind are Mike Trushner, Blaine Sumner. I don't know of any other ones, but those are two who have competed at a really high level that more or less train on their own. And then the other thing would be if you have maybe 1 or 2 people that can come to some of your sessions or come to heavy parts of your sessions, then try and coordinate that so that if you have 2 people there when you're squatting, you can have spotters on the side that can help you out into the rack when you're re-racking or catch it if something bad happens. And then with shirted bench, very few people do shirted benches without getting a lift off, so then you would have that person. And if you only have 2 people, lots of days if Ryan and just one other person are in the gym, Ryan will lift off and then go spot on the side. So then you can still have 2 side spotters should something go wrong. The other option might be if there's a group of powerlifters, specifically equipped powerlifters, but just powerlifters know how to spot too, within a few hours drive, head there maybe once or twice a month, weekly if you could, do all of your equipped lifts that day, and then you have those people built in to give you help and give you some technical feedback as well. So yeah, training equipped by yourself is definitely a possibility. Just be aware of the safety concerns or the risks involved with it and see what you can do with it. So that's it for week 12. 4 weeks out from Worlds now, less than 4 because I compete on a Thursday. So it's going to sneak up really quickly here. Only 2 full training weeks left. And then we're into the taper, opener day, and travel, and then it will be go time. So we'll see what this next week brings and check in with you next week.